All right, today we're going to look at some more features of a function. So given just this function, negative 1/2 x squared minus 4x, I want to be able to pull certain information from that without being given a graph. And so the degree means what is your highest exponent. And so in our case, our highest exponent is a 2. So we just have a degree 2 problem. So this is a quadratic. Now, what about leading coefficient? So you need to find the degree first so you know what the leading coefficient is. The leading coefficient is not necessarily just the number that's out in front. The leading coefficient is the number that is out in front of your variable. Then, so in this case, our leading coefficient is going to be negative 1/2. Now, what does that negative tell us? That negative tells us that this actually flips over the x-axis. So in this case, we are going to have an N-shaped graph that opens down, right? It's a quadratic, but it opens down. At most, it's going to cross the x-axis twice, so we're going to have up to two x-intercepts, and there's only one change of direction. So as I'm going up, I have one extrema, or one min or max, one change of direction. Now, what about the end behavior? As x approaches infinity, so as x gets larger and larger, notice how both ends we are opening down. Our arrow notation, our arrows are pointing down. So therefore, we are approaching negative infinity in both directions. So as x increases forever and as x decreases forever, our y values are decreasing forever. Now what about number 2? Let's take a look at this. So our degree is a little harder to find here. This is technically an x to the first power. So I have one x here, I have two x's here, right? And x times x gives me an x squared. Another x times x gives me an x squared. So I have 5 total x's here. So I actually have a degree 5. And if I were to distribute and multiply all that out, I would get an x to the 5th. And in fact, it would be a 1x to the 5th. So it would be a positive 1, because x times x squared times another x squared would be a positive 1x to the 5th. So my leading coefficient is going to be a positive 1, meaning that this is a standard situation where our degree 5, we're going to start at the bottom left, and we have these extra humps through it, and we're going to end, in terms of our end behavior, to the top right. We can cross the x-axis up to 5 times, and we are going to have at most 4 turning points. And so we can have one turning point here, 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 and here, or extrema, or minimum. So we're going up and we turn, that's 1, turn again, that's 2, turn, for a total of 4. So if you take the number of times you turn, add 1 to that, that will tell you what your degree is as well, when given a graph. But being able to look at this between these two items, I want you to be able to sketch what that graph is going to look like, so that you can find the end behavior. So we're going to look at our arrows. As x is going to the right forever, our graph is going up forever. As x is coming to the left forever, our graph is going down forever. And so we are looking at negative infinity in our end behavior. Now, if this were flipped, if this were a negative out in front, then that would reflect over the x-axis and it would start in the top left and end in the bottom right.